A $40 billion transaction, the largest corporate merger in Indian banking history. India's largest non-banking housing finance company, HDFC Limited, announced it was merging with its own giant, India's largest private lender, HDFC Bank. Overnight, a financial titan is born. A bank so large, it instantly stepped into the elite club of top 10 most valuable banks on the planet, standing shoulder to shoulder with Wall Street giants like JP Morgan Chase and Bank of America. On paper, it looked like Max made it even. The bank gets giant, highly secure home loan portfolio. The mortgage company gets access to cheap, low-cost deposit. In theory, it is master stroke. In practice, it is unleashed complex web of regulatory penalties, reserve drains, and balance sheet friction that sent global institutional market into a frenzy. To understand why this merger caused mayhem, you have to understand fundamental rule of central banking. A non-banking financial company or NBFC does not operate like a commercial bank. Think of commercial bank as a full-service supermarket. It accepts everyday current account, runs saving accounts, issue credit cards, and hand out loans. An NBFC, on the other hand, is like specialized shop. It cannot take out daily saving accounts. To lend money, they have to borrow huge sums from corporate bonds and wholesale market at a high interest rate. HDFC Bank, meanwhile, possesses a superpower called CASA, current account and saving account. Imagine running a business where your raw material are virtually free. That's a CASA. Money sitting in current account pays 0% interest to account holder. Money in saving account pays tiny 2.5 to 3.5%. This ultra cheap retail money allowed HDFC Bank to lend out as a credit card debt or personal loan at high profit margin. Then came July 1st, 2023. The merger officially took effect. Overnight, HDFC Bank inherited over 7 lakh crore in $5 billion of expensive long-term wholesale liabilities from its parent company. The bank low cost advantage was diluted in a single day. And standing right at the door was India's central bank. When you operate as NBFC, you don't have to keep massive cash reserve parked doing nothing. But the moment you become commercial bank, Reserve Bank of India hits you with two non-negotiable statutory rules. CRR, cash reserve ratio. You must park 4.5% of total deposit in cash with RBI, earning zero interest. SLR, statutory liquidity ratio. You must lock up to 18% of your deposit in low-yielding government securities. HDFC Bank requested a temporary phase-in period from the RBI to fulfill reserve requirement on newly absorbed housing debt. The RBI answered a firm, emphatic no. On day one, HDFC Bank had to take tens of billions of dollars in cash and lock them on government paper to satisfy regulatory norms. That wasn't the only one they hit. The bank ran straight into crisis with its loan-to-deposit ratio, LDR. Before the merger, HDFC Bank loan-to-deposit ratio was sitting at a comfortable 85%. But when you instantly stack up massive mortgage portfolio into bank without instantly doubling its deposit, your loan-to-deposit ratio skyrockets. Credit to deposit ratio surged past 100% to nearly 110%. To translate that from central banking jargon, they were lending out significantly more money than they were taking by deposit. This triggered an emergency operation inside HDFC Bank headquartered in Mumbai. The mandate was clear: gather deposit at all costs. They opened 1,000 new branches in single year. They mobilized armies of relationship managers across 3,000 cities. But to attract return deposit quickly in the tight liquidity market, you have to raise interest on fixed deposit. All this directly crushed their core income engine, NII, net interest income. NII is simple. It's core profit that bank makes purely from lending. If a bank collects 8% interest on home loans and pays 3% interest on saving accounts, that 5% difference is NII. Foreign institutional investors panicked. They started dumping the stock, and then they screamed that HDFC Bank's world-famous return on asset of 2% was going to be permanently damaged. Foreign capital fled, and for months, the stock remains stagnant while the broader market hit God high. But did the underlying machine break? Not even close. CEO Sashidhar Jagdishan executed a disciplined strategy. He deliberately slowed down corporate loan work, choosing to starve the credit book until retail deposits are up. They converted home loan applicants into full-service banking clients, cross-selling credit card, insurance, selling accounts, even while absorbing massive real estate exposure. Gross NPA remains sitting at insanely low 1.2%. With 40 lakh crore balance sheet, competitors could no longer under them on loan pricing. The $40 billion merger of HDFC was never going to be a short-term quarterly profit play. It was generational structural shift. By converting a non-banking housing leader into commercial banking region, HDFC absorbed short-term pain, reserve ratio, margin compression, and deposit pressure. In exchange, it built an unbeatable long-term fortress balance sheet that controls nearly 15% of all credit and 20% of all incremental deposit, one of the fastest growing major economy. When central banks' liquidity gets tight, smaller institutions struggle to survive. But the giants build structural moats. The 40 billion experiment proved one fundamental truth of modern finance. In central banking, scale isn't an advantage. It is ultimate weapon.